Recently, I did a video on 10 ways that single men are discriminated against, and it seemed to resonate with all of you, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into this subject, and today I'm going to do 10 assumptions about single men that society places on us that I think are not true. The number one assumption is that single men are commitment-phobic. And I don't think that's true. I think that a lot of us are committed to our families, our careers, our friends, and we're trying to get our ducks in order, and I just don't see that. I think it's easy to assume someone is commitment phobic when they're still single. It's just that you haven't met the right person yet, is what I feel like. Let me know what you guys think. The second assumption that society places on us is they're irresponsible. And I don't think that's true either. I think single men are some of the most responsible people in the world, if you ask me. We have to balance our work, our relationship with our families if we have one, friends. We have to keep our homes in order. I don't think that's true either. The third one is that single men are lonely. And I think we have moments of loneliness, but I don't think we're lonely. I'm not lonely. I live alone, but I'm not lonely. I've always got something to do. And there's always things out there I need to be doing also. So I think single men are, for the most part, content with themselves. They might have moments of loneliness. You might have a day or so where you're just, kind of down that day and you feel lonely that day. There's nothing wrong with that. It just occurs. It's just part of being a human. The third one the fourth one I had written down is single men are assumed to be players. And I don't think that's true either. I think when people see guys dating a lot, they just assume that. And yes, while there are some guys that are out there like that, there's always bad apples in every group. But I think for the most part, guys that are dating are in the process of finding the right person. I mean, that's what dating to me is all about, is finding the right one that fits, that meshes, that makes us feel alive more than we are. And I just don't think, when people assume that about single men, I don't think that's right. I think that most guys are looking for the right woman. They just haven't found her yet. And dating is the process. Number 5 is society's assumption that single men are career obsessed. And while it may look like that on the outside, I don't think that's true either. I think a lot of men who find what they enjoy doing, it may look like that because they're excited about going to work. They're excited about doing what they do. They seem obsessed about what they're into because they're enjoying their work. Now, guys that don't like their jobs, it may still seem like that because they're working a lot of overtime, etc. And I just don't think that's true. I think single men are working on themselves. They're trying to get everything in order. Their priorities are their family, if they have one, and their career, if that's what they're working on. I mean, most guys are like that. They have to get themselves in order, and career is right up there at the top. So I don't think that's true that we're career obsessed necessarily. I think some guys enjoy their careers more than others, and that to someone on the outside, that's what it looks like. It looks like they're career obsessed. But I don't think that's true of men overall. Number 6 is the assumption that men are not ready for adulthood. My take on that is I don't think that's true either, because men and women, everybody matures at a different rate. I think some guys are not ready, other guys are. But I think most single men cannot be assumed to be immature. Just like the previous things we just talked about, it's easy to look at us from the outside and say, oh, he's not ready yet, he hadn't grown up yet, etc., etc. I don't think that's true either. What do you guys think? I think most single guys that are out there in the workforce are concentrating on their careers and concentrating on themselves getting better more than anything else. So let me know what you think about that one. Number 7 is society assumes that single men are financially irresponsible. And I don't think that's true either. My counterpoint to that is most guys, like I just said, our previous steps, they're working on their career, they're trying to be good for their family, they're working on their career, they're trying to get themselves in shape, taking care of themselves. And to say that he's financially irresponsible, that's just another easy assumption people make that's not correct. I mean, you can easily look at a single guy and look at him and say, oh, he spent too much money on that car, or he bought this or he bought that. Well, that's his business. Some careers require a good car. Some careers require a nice suit to go to work in. Some careers require clothing that they have to buy to go do their jobs. So I don't think that's a correct assumption about single guys either. It's easy, again, to look at him from the outside and say he's not responsible with his money, but really that's nobody's business but theirs. So number 8 is society's assumption that we're socially awkward. And in my case, that's true. And in a few other cases, it may be true. But overall, to label all single men as socially awkward is incorrect. I think most single guys are working on themselves. I'm trying to work on myself. I'm trying to get better at speaking, especially in front of a camera. And I'm speaking to you, but I'm speaking through a camera. And I've always had trouble with public speaking in front of a classroom, speaking in front of cameras. So I'm trying to get better as I go. And to say that all single men are socially awkward, that's not correct. There are single men out there like me that have maybe a bit of autism or social anxiety disorder, but I think for the most part, men are socially acceptable. They're just seen as, when they're alone, these people come up with these assumptions. Oh, he's just socially awkward, so he doesn't want to talk to anybody. No, it could be that he doesn't want to talk to anybody because he's got something on his mind about his work or a situation at home, with things he has to do, things like that. So I don't think that assumption is true either. Number 9, this assumption about single men is the big one of the day. They're avoiding getting married because they want to stay free. Guys, chime in on this one. I think this one is both true and false. You can't assume that all guys are avoiding marriage on purpose. You can't just lump all of us into that same boat. But you and I know what's going on these days with women and with our society and the way things are not to our advantage in a marriage, as far as, if the marriage comes to an end, things like that. So that one is a big one. But to say all men are avoiding marriage to stay free, I think there's a lot of divorcees out there avoiding marriage again because they've been through a bad experience. But I don't think you can say all of us are out there avoiding it on purpose to stay free. I think all of us in the back of our minds feel like if we met the right woman, if we met that special woman that's hard to find, we would probably get married. But today, in today's society, it's harder and harder for single men to find that special one. If you disagree, let me know. I don't know. I think it's, when I look at all the divorce rates and the ugly settlements and the things going on that are happening to men, it kind of makes me think about that one, that assumption, longer than the rest of them. It's just the way society is today. And the 10th and final assumption that people make about single men is that we're all set in our ways. And I don't think that's true either. I think a lot of single guys out there are just concentrating on their family if they have one, their career, trying to get better at staying healthy. I think they're juggling a lot of responsibilities on their own. And I think that single guys are also, I see single people that are doing all kinds of things. I myself am trying something new. I'm trying YouTube. This is something totally new to me. I've tried it once before, but I really didn't do it seriously enough. So this time I'm trying it again, and it's something different. And I'm also trying to learn how to cook better. I'm trying to learn how to speak better. I want to learn how to get better at public speaking and speaking to a camera, especially. So this is bringing up new things for me. And when people look at me from the outside and say, oh, he's set in his ways, he'll never change, he's never going to be able to get along with anybody, that's not true. That's not true of you. That's not true of me. I think that's just an assumption that they all place us under that umbrella, and we're just seen that way. So I don't think that's accurate either. Anyway, those are 10 things that I think society assumes about single men. Leave a comment below if I missed any others. I'm sure you can think of others. I was researching this, and these are the 10 ones that stuck out to me. But I'm sure you have some others that I didn't think of. And the next video I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the advantages of being a single man. So stay tuned around for that, because I've got some things to say about the advantages we have of being single. So do the best you can with what you've got wherever you're at, and I will see you on the next one.